T. It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast. On today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about Challenge Youth Conference in Dallas, Texas, 2026. Talk a little bit about what Ben and Lonnie talked about in their class today, maybe what I talked about in my class today, and of course, talk about SWAT and Ben and Travis fun, and try not to give away too much. We'll have that conversation right after this important message about the Joy Rider, which is coming soon. Hey friends, we've got something really special to share with you today, a brand new children's book that's all about faith, family, and finding joy in the middle of life's challenges. It's called The Adventures of Ben and Travis and the Joy Rider. This heartwarming story follows a big brother in a wheelchair who uses his creativity, courage, and a whole lot of love to help his little brother and cousin overcome life's obstacles. Together they show us that joy isn't about what you have, it's about how you choose to face the ups and downs of life. This book is full of fun, adventure, and hope. It's perfect for bedtime stories, Sunday school libraries, or as a meaningful gift for the kids in your life. Plus, it's a great way to start conversations with your family about resilience, compassion, and faith. Pre-orders are open now, and when you order early, you'll be one of the first to get your hands on this inspiring story. Just head over to benandtravis.com/books. That's benandtravis.com/books and pre-order your copy today. Give your kids a story that will make them smile, laugh, and believe in the power of joy. I'm Travis Creasy, the pulpit minister at Westgate Church of Christ in Dothan, Alabama. And that is my compadre in crime, Ben Hayes, the pulpit minister at Highland Park Church of Christ, campus counselor at Mars Hill Bible School there for the elementary, also with Record Counseling. And if he's like me, one tired dude. Hopefully it's not coming across in our voice, but it's hard to hide because it has been a fun-filled, spirit-filled, did I say fun? Weekend?
Fun spirit-filled.
That started on Wednesday for me.
Yeah.
Traveling up to the Shoals to meet Skits with a Truth and ride over. I don't know. I mean, it felt like the trip over was one of the quicker ones we've done. I think we stopped really like 3 times, maybe 4, but I know lunch, I think stopped to get me to switch out cars, and then we stopped one more time, I think as a potty break, and then we just rolled right on in, which I hope we have the same blessing tomorrow, maybe with one less stop, but who knows? Yeah. Who knows? If it's not snowing, I count that as a win these days. I count that as a win because we've done that a couple of times and it was a little touch and go. But like I said,
that's really slowed us down on the return trip a few times. Yeah. I think we've gotten in at like midnight or after a couple of times.
So like I said, Wednesday, me and Haley and Daniel loaded up, drove to the Shoals, left them with my mom, and it means Whitney's had 5 days to herself, which is way to go, Mom. Sure, that is much needed. And then we got up and I think rolled out of Highland Park parking lot at like 9:30-ish.
Yeah.
And rolled in here a little.
It was like 8 or 9. Yeah. I don't know
like
how we made it. I think the drive itself, I just looked it up. It's like 8 hours and 45 minutes, but I feel like we didn't lose much of that time.
No.
So maybe it took us, 10 hours or something like that. Cause I think maybe we rolled in here about 8 or 9 o'clock.
Yeah. So pretty wild.
We did pretty good.
Pretty wild. And, there's always plenty to do.
Always.
We've got, the Ben and Travis stuff. We got some more videos out there. And, if you're on the Patreon at producer level, you actually got those videos before anyone else. And so they're the first people to get to see those videos every single year. Those of you that are on the sponsor level, you'll get them the week leading into CYC Pigeon Forge, and so you'll get to see them early as well. But I think the videos are awesome. Can't give away too much.
Yeah, and you got to speak for one of the classes. So for those of you who go to CYC and Pigeon Forge, it's a little different out here. They had a record number. I think it was a record number for this one, and we were over 500, which I thought was a really great number for this.
Yeah.
We did really good. Had a lot of adults were here because we had a pretty full room when Lonnie and I talked to just the adults. But because of the way this one is in a small scale, a little smaller than the other one. They did kind of breakout. I thought it was going to be breakout classes, but y'all actually just did it one time, right?
Yes.
And so basically you spoke, Reed Swindle spoke, and Dale Jenkins spoke. Is that right?
Yes.
The three of you guys spoke, but it was just kind of back to back to back. And so you got to speak about 30 minutes, and you talked about.
So we talked about what is truth, the question that Pilate asks there to Jesus, and what that kind of means for the digital age. And so I talked a little bit. I tried not to get too deep in the AI chat GPT world. I kind of leave that for the Jason Heltons of the world. Yeah. But I did try to make some connections there about what we allow to influence us. And, what is truth? How does the world define truth? How does the Bible define truth? And it's not just information, it's a person. And that's Jesus, of course. And then kind of talked about, you've got Pilate, who is saying a lot of the right things. He says there's no guilt in this man. Right? That's truth, but he's not getting the full reward of that truth. He doesn't believe it like we believe it. He didn't believe it the way we believe it now. And he says, behold, the man, which, there is no greater man than Jesus. And even Caiaphas, he says, it's better for one man to die than the many, which is true. And I talked about David and Goliath and kind of that setup, that was the setup. Like, well, one guy's going to die and we save a lot of people. And so Caiaphas is correct, but he's not saying it from a believing heart in Jesus. But then you've got Peter, who's running around denying the Christ, and of course says a lot of things that maybe we don't like, or he says some good things, where he says, to where else will we go? You have the words of eternal life. And so, we want to shoot to say the right thing, and we want to say to do the right thing, but ultimately the truth is that Jesus can work with a believing heart. And that's kind of how it works to get us to saying all the right things and doing all the right things. But it's really about knowing the man, Jesus Christ himself, and the truth that he brings. So
I hate we didn't get to hear you guys speak because we were doing the class with the adults. But man, the lessons that I heard, Eric Lyons knocked a couple of home runs, works with Apologetics Press. So I don't know I think he's doing at least one of those in Pigeon Forge. So I was excited to see him on the lineup. And then Lonnie always hits a home run. So Lonnie did a great job tonight, and then he'll speak again tomorrow. And I think I think it went well. I think we had a good run at it. Always kind of we're kind of inching up to this weekend, going, are we gonna make this happen? And we get a little anxious about it because it's the first time running through these things with a live audience, and we cut up way too much in practice sometimes. And so we feel like, do we actually have something that's going to be serious or something that's going to go over well? I thought it went over pretty well. I thought
it comes together. We were talking about it, and Lonnie has, I would say, way more confidence in me than I have confidence in me. And then, of course, the extra obstacle, I'd only joined y'all in person maybe once.
Well, I only joined it. I wasn't many more times than
and then everything else was over the phone. But he's got confidence, and, that doesn't put all that much pressure, but it's a little pressure in there, right? Because you want to do good and you want to do it right. And I think for the most part, the Dallas crew gets a little rawer version of it. Yeah. But everyone's so encouraging and appreciative of the work that goes in. And certainly I was telling somebody, I said, being Ben, like, we see a commercial and we're like, oh, we could use that commercial. Yeah. But these other SWAT guys, man, they just come in, especially Lonnie comes in with his skeleton of where he wants to go. And then the rest of the guys like pile in all this funny stuff. And so much of it's like original stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, man, those guys are brilliant.
Lonnie's not seen most of the funny movies or stuff that we'll make some random reference. The other SWAT guys will get it. But Lonnie will be like, "What's that about?" And so you would think he's seen all these things, as funny as he is, but it's just all up there in his head.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's crazy.
He definitely has a vision for things that I do not have.
No.
But
he remembers everything.
Yeah, it's a steel trap, man.
Like
it's a steel trap.
And it's like when he starts rattling off lines, dude, it's like I'm going, okay, make sure you don't forget this line. And he's just like, no worries. And it was the same way in Bible class, like our Bible class with the adults. There were questions, and we got several people that sent in questions, and so I would sort of read the questions and let Lonnie answer because, of course, he's got the wisdom. I would try to pitch in a little bit, but most of those questions, most of those things that we talked about in that class were really had to do with relationships with kids and relationships with other adults, things that we run into in church work, and kind of how to encourage kids, how to connect with kids. Certain scenarios were thrown at us with a few of the questions. What do we do about a kid that's this, or how do we deal with one of the guys said, he asked the group how ready they were to get out of the house, and he said they're all like saying they don't want to because it's a scary world out there. And he was like, are you seeing this sort of trend? Is this something that we're seeing in the world today? And we just kind of talked about this anxious generation that we're kind of raising our kids in right now. That, as I've probably mentioned on here before, Ryan Fraser talks about, the saturation that these kids have for all the bad news. How many of our kids, older ones at least, watch, an assassination live or almost live, within minutes after it happened with Charlie Kirk. So you got saturation of all these bad things. You've got fragmentation of families, families breaking up. That's probably been a trend for a long time, but certainly makes it difficult. Isolation, being apart from people. We think about COVID, but even with our cell phones, I feel like we have a lot of that isolation. Yep. And then, really maybe the hardest one is the expectations. So you got a lot of kids that have expectations for themselves, expectations from their family, from their teachers, from their youth ministers and preachers. And so we're just talking about how those sorts of things sort of pile on to the anxiety and the depression. That's some stuff from Ryan Fraser. And, so we just kind of talked about how do we help them through in some of those times and, give them the tools that they need, and maybe give the other people, in our youth group, the tools that they need to help the other kids as well. So
that was one of the questions I asked in my class. Of course, it was so large a class, there wasn't a lot of feedback, so it ended up being more like a lecture. But I did ask that question. It's like, how many of you have seen a live event filmed from two different perspectives? Mm-hmm. And, you mentioned some recent events, and you could see it from here and over here. And I'm like, that just by location and geography of the camera angle, you get a different perspective, and the importance of acknowledging other perspectives, even if you don't agree with them, even if they're wrong, to be able to acknowledge, well, you have a different perspective, and to be able to listen through that and kind of build the relationship so that the expectations aren't so heavy. It buries people. But even if it's not a video, I've mentioned the Gospels, there's things that details that Matthew gives. And it could be simply because he was standing in a different place than someone else. Or it was written at a different time. John's, we believe, was written a little later and for different purposes and different reasons. So they're going to include these. It's not a contradiction. It's the way it happened, but it's what they, from their view and angle, and it can be a location thing. Talked a little bit about bias. Talked about, I'm from North Alabama. That alone in itself changes my perspective on things, and to be able to at least acknowledge, maybe my perspective isn't the truth. It isn't all the details, but it may give some important ones. And being able to set those things aside sometimes, especially when we seek out the man himself, the truth.
We can always talk about this. I mean, the two of us grew up about as similar of an area, went to the same church most of our lives, but, very different backgrounds. Even, our families are a little bit different. My brothers are the closest thing to me I guess, genetically.
Yeah.
And we're very different, and we have very different experiences because although we had the same parents, lived in the same house, went to the same school, we had different friends, we had different pressures and different things that we did. So every single person, as Lonnie always mentions, everybody that you meet knows something you don't know and can see something you can't see. And so a lot of times when we're trying to help kids or we're trying to help other adults, we need to figure out their perspective. We need to listen to their perspective. And so a lot of times it seems like the reason that kids, are struggling or don't talk to adults is because a lot of times adults dismiss them, or we already think we know what the answer is. We already think we can give them the answer. And so that attention, belonging, and support needs to be there. And part of that is hearing their perspective, getting their side of the story, even if we don't agree with it. We don't have to agree with their side of the story, but everybody wants to feel heard. And so, that's something across the board, helping
I get on social media and see something that sends me into a rage fit, and I want to say something really mean. I try to think, are you trying to see it where they're coming from?
Yeah.
And I mentioned, the enemy doesn't want us to know truth. It doesn't want us to come to a knowledge of who truth is, not just what truth is.
Yeah.
And so there's all these things, and the Ryan Fraser comment that you made, that are trying to keep us from coming to that realization and knowledge. And I'll say, Ben, one of the really cool things about both weekends is just the encouragement we get. The people are so kind and over the top. I've heard really good things about the Worry Coaster and how that's affected people.
Cool.
And people are fired up about the Joy Rider, and we're glad. I don't know if we mentioned on the last podcast or not, but we have officially placed the order. It has gone to print, and hopefully we'll have those in hand in the next 2 weeks or so. And that means that we will be, I say we, but it's shipping to the Shoals. So you and Jacob Hennigan will be shipping those.
Thanks
out.
for choosing me.
Yes. Yeah. So
I probably should get you to autograph.
I probably should do some autographing, which sounds a little weird to say.
We gotta send.
Yeah, we gotta send
those with some of them. Some.
But it's great. And being one of the underrated parts of this trip is the food. Right?
Yeah, that's
and
pretty.
We just so happen now. Y'all all know Michael Rosenblum as Rico Suave, and many of you are familiar with Reed Swindle.
Yeah.
But
they do a good job.
They do a good job picking out food. You may know them from Rico Suave and being a good preacher. But let me tell you, they are foodies. Whether they acknowledge it or not, or they post it to Instagram, they're about good food, and they are a trustworthy bunch.
Yep.
It was interesting tonight. We were kind of scrambling to get something to eat so we could come back. And we walked into this one place, and apparently it was the Buffalo Bills restaurant for game day.
Yeah.
They have those in big cities, right? I've always heard of the New York. There's an Alabama, New York
nice.
place that they all gather to watch the football games. And we walked in, and it was packed, as you can imagine, because it was in the middle of the game. And we were being judged silently.
Oh, yeah.
We did not
everybody turned and looked
red,
at
white,
us
and blue.
like,
but it is funny because we are the Buffalo Bills in Dallas, Texas.
I know.
It's like they lost a couple of Super Bowls, but
Yeah.
it takes some guts to walk around here with some Buffalo Bills stuff on.
It's a big enough city. There's enough of a hodgepodge of people. So, yeah, we tried a couple places, ended up in Mexican, and it was good.
Is it Hutchinson?
Hutchins.
Or what was tonight? I can't remember.
It was a Mexican restaurant. I don't remember
Which
the
we
name
had
of,
also not the same, but on the way Thursday. I don't know if we can throw. Is it Don Jose's?
Don Jose's.
I don't know if we can throw it in there because that's just tradition.
It's just always
we
there.
do that one.
Yeah.
When we're going through Arkansas.
I don't know. Hutchins is fantastic. If you've not had the chance to go to a Hutchins in the Dallas area, go to it. Heart Eight is a great place that we've eaten for a lot of years. I love Heart Eight. I feel wrong saying it, but I feel like Hutchins is a little bit beyond. Travis, I think,
we're a podcast about it.
He's still loyal to.
It's great. Both are. You can't go wrong. I'll say that they're close enough. You can't go wrong. I think
if you're a meat eater, you can't go wrong. If you like, but that okra, man,
it was good.
The okra at Hutchins is phenomenal.
I think what Hard Eights does for me, and I told y'all this yesterday, I get to see
what you're
like. There's a lot of lingo and language in barbecue that is my fault, right? I should be more of a connoisseur on what is what. But I like the Hard Eights because you can look at it and go, give me that right there. And I want it dipped in butter. I want it dipped in butter.
The butter dipping is pretty fantastic.
But both are great. Like they're right there, neck and neck. Either one can't go wrong, but I'm on that train. And, that's one of the great things about when we leave as well. We get to make a decision.
And I think this is the same way with whether you're at CYC in Dallas or you're at CYC at Pigeon Forge. Or I know that there's groups right now is it Evangelism University that's going on, and then there's golf going on. My kids, one of my kids is at golf, and our youth group is there. So doesn't matter which one you're at. One of the greatest aspects of it, and I think one of the greatest aspects of being a part of the church is the church, the body of Christ, and just being with each other. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, y'all got to 8-hour drive or a 10-hour drive or whatever," and I'm like, yes, with some of my best friends on the planet. And so just like driving out to Pasadena a couple of weeks ago, the company makes the trip.
It's the people.
And so no matter the conference is kind of icing on the cake, but being able to not only drive out here with our people, see our Missouri family that I've talked about a whole lot, love all the people there, seeing our church family from Oklahoma and Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas and Missouri, and I don't even know where else. There's somebody I'm sure I'm leaving out. But being able to be with people who are my church family, but not my church family at home. But we're all a part of the same people. And so if you don't have that, I really encourage you to look into that and find some people to be your people. So
shout out to Angela Schrebel and Caleb Boggs who support the podcast and got up on the stage tonight and did the milk song.
That's right.
So
that was this morning, actually.
This morning.
Crazy,
it seems like it. Day. Yeah, you're right. This morning it has been a long day, so we'll start wrapping this bad boy up. But man, you couldn't have said any better, man. It's exactly the case. It's worth driving 5 hours from Dothan to the Shoals. And then 10 hours out here to see and to be with people. And there's a lot of folks, I think, that would pay a lot of money or sacrifice an arm or a leg to maybe go on the van with the SWAT team.
Yeah, we've had a few people who've been trying to for a couple of years.
Trust me, you don't want to get on that van if you're sensitive. Because it's a ride for sure.
Dog eat dog world.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. We appreciate all y'all listening. We love conference season. That's kind of what I reference it as. We'll be in Pigeon Forge next month, and it's exciting to think about having the Joyrider in hand.
Man, it's
those
awesome.
Copies.
I love it, man. The book, I mean, I know we did it and we produced it, but I think it is phenomenal. And I say that because we wrote some words down. Jacob makes it come to life.
Takes it to the next level.
His artwork is
Lonnie
awesome.
Has seen the Worry Coaster and he loves it. He said it was great. It's fantastic. But he read Joyrider. He said it's better.
He thought it was better. I think,
I'm a little too close to those things to be able to make a call.
I don't know. I like them both. I think they've got some useful stuff. Both the kids' story. Lonnie commented on the back side of it. Has got some teaching material for adults and youth workers and teachers that might want to kind of help their kids along with some of these thoughts. So not only is it just a fun kids book, it's got some teaching element at the end where you can share some things. So
you can get your order in still. It's on our website, benandtravis.com/store. You can get it at benandtravis.com/books. And when it gets to us, we'll ship out the pre-orders. That means that comes to you first. If you're on the list, we'd love to do it. Ben, I love you, man. I love getting to do this. It's pretty cool that so many people put up with us, and not only put up with us, encourage us to keep putting out content. And that's what we're trying to do. It's all for for the church. It's all for God, and we certainly hope that He gets the glory, and I hope you get that. Nothing else we get across. It's to encourage you and to draw you more into His Word and to be in the image of His Son, Jesus. But we love all of y'all, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless.
Have a good one.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.